Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to Rio Grande Western Iron Horse Route. This is Brian for archive purposes. It is Friday. I got my day right. It's Friday, July 19th. I got John in here with me right now. Good to have you. And it looks like John's got a little experiment on his own going on over there, and I'm curious to see what happens. I got some stuff set up over here. You can see I'm official today. I even got a chart and stuff. So I actually, do you? That's awesome. Ain't nothing better than having a side-by-side comparison of side-by-side comparisons. All right, hey, buddy. Good morning. And Mr. Roy. Hey, buddy. How are you? All right, so Roy, it's good that you're here because I went and bought the cheapest clear caulk I could absolutely find at a dollar store. And we're going to thin it and pour it beside the Woodland Scenics water today. Now, I've got six. I'm going to pour 6 times, and it's a ridiculous grade, but you'll be able to see it this way. And I'm going to have caulk and mineral spirits, and I'm going to do a water and an effect version. What I mean by that is one's going to be thinner and one's going to be thicker. I'm going to do the caulk and the mineral spirits. I'm going to do the Woodland Scenics water in the middle. And on the other side, I'm going to do the caulk and isopropyl 91%. Hey, Bill. How are you? And I got a video from Steve at Train. One guy has a Rio Grande, a double Rio Grande 1.5-inch scale locomotive, and with a like $70,000 train driving around up there at Train Mountain. It's awesome. But what I'm going to do actually, I've got the Woodland Scenics water in the sitting in the hot water like it's supposed to, and that's been in there long enough. Now I don't have a lot of the Woodland Scenics product, and it is really awesome stuff, so I'm not gonna waste a lot of it, but I'm gonna kind of stir it and pour as little as I can of it. And so what I'm gonna do, the recommendations are to stir it for 5 minutes, let it sit for 5 minutes, stir it for 5 minutes, then pour, and you're at water consistency there. At about 10 minutes, you're getting between ripple and wave consistency with it sitting rested. Because I'm going to do such a small amount of that product, and it's easier to blend with less, there's less stuff there to dry out and thicken, so as a result it will do so more quickly than a 150 or 300 gram pour, which would be an average size pour unless you're Todd Tester and you're pouring the Allegheny. Yeah, it sure did. Yeah, Roy, we didn't see you yesterday for that experiment, and that's, I'm going to try to do this without making too big of a mess. So what I got set up here, but then I'm going to start stirring the Woodland Scenic stuff because it's going to be 10, 12 minutes before I can pour it, just due to the resting times. The other stuff I can pour pretty quick, but this might fall. But this is yesterday, Roy. Now, I had some blue dish soap from my initial pour that stayed on the stick, and so it turned both those clear caulks to a blue, well, kind of watercolor actually. But the one furthest from me is your 91% isopropyl, and this one in the middle that really looks fantastic is the mineral spirits, and it actually looks like a crashing wave if you scaled it with your mind. But so what I'm going to do, I've got the scale over here. I'm not going to put the scale on this shaky table and stuff. I just don't want to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pour the Woodland Scenic stuff. I'm going to stir it so it can rest for the 3 or 4 minutes. Hey, James. And I'm going to stir it so it can rest for the 3 or 4 minutes. In which case I'll start working on some of the other stuff, weighing it out. The reason why I'm weighing it, I'm just going to do a bead of caulk and use my dipsticks to try to pull, like an inch, the same amount for each. But I'm going to use the scale to weigh the amount of thinner, whether it be or the mineral spirits, because I want to use the same amount of caulk. And for the thinner mixture, I want to use a little more of the thinner. And for the thicker one, a little less. So I'm going to weigh those out. And I'm going to do that so I've got a more accurate representation. So the products are more closely suited to each other. So it's a more accurate comparison. And if you're just joining us, John has a comparison going on over there as well, at a study on as well. So we're going to look at that too. I don't know. Wait, I'm not going to say that. Okay, so I only have very small amounts of this, and I might actually end up using it all. And I don't mind that because I really would like to know what they look like side by side. And I don't think there's any way to know without doing this. So I've got some sticks and some cups. We're going to get moving. I'm going to be right here. If you need me, holla. If you're wondering, those little plastic cups weigh 5 grams. And what is suggested on these products, the Woodland Scenics Deep Pour, is not to shake it, but to do that for about, I think they said like a minute, which I'm not going to do it for a minute, but for some reason they don't want you shaking it. Hey, Fernando. All right, so clear pour water. All right, 20 grams, 22, who's counting? One-third hardener. Now I got a timer set, and I'm going to let that roll because I need a 3-minute timer for intervals. And now I get to stir for 3 minutes. Who are you talking to, Fernando? And I just kind of slowly, evenly stirred. It was hard staying live while driving in Wyoming. Besides, someone asked me to record driving across Wyoming. I don't know why. Yeah, well, there's actually parts of Wyoming that are really beautiful. I guess you got it. That's only that one little area, though. Jackson Hole is the stuff if you're a skier. Yeah, it's hard to stir this stuff as long as they want you to. 5 minutes is like ridiculously long to stir it. Yeah, I haven't spent much time there, but even through there, but once or twice, except I've seen a lot of. I used to be real big into snow skiing, and so I studied that area a lot because it's one of the premier places to snow ski if you're into if you're into like intense, which I wasn't that good, but you know, you follow those folks that do that kind of crazy stuff. Have y'all seen that video that Roy of Edmonston Union Subdivision, Roy in Panama, put out on the Todd T? I can't pronounce it. I don't want to say it wrong. His layout. That's a fantastic video right there. Wow. I imagine Roy can handle the crazies, huh, Roy? Yeah, I mean, I hate to ask this because this is like not politically correct, but how does that dude, how did he get all that stuff? He like works for the railroad. I guess that was really tacky of me to ask, but he's got like um 1,400 locomotives. I mean, you can do the math on that. 4,000 cars on his yard. Okay. Now, I have some stuff to do while that is resting for 3 minutes. Woodland Scenics is resting for 3 minutes. I'm going to stir it for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to pour a little of it. Then I'm going to let it rest about 5 minutes and pour a little more. The second pour should be more consistency of ripples and waves. The first pour should run down pretty quick because I've got the grade so steep. I'm expecting that. But I wanted y'all to be able to see it too. It didn't go as smoothly as I was hoping. Actually, this might be as good a place as any to do this part. Did I puncture? I didn't puncture the hole. Excuse me. All right. Let's see. I'm going to try to do about that much each time. Ooh, smelly. Let's see what they weigh. We'll just check them. All right, I got roughly 4 to 5 grams of caulk in each, so that's close enough. I'm going to add mineral spirits now. I'm going to add a little more to the first one. All right. Well, now I got my hands full. I've got a 2 gram difference, I think, which I want to change that. 15. And 13. Okay. So what we will do, I'm sorry, I had never heard of a rolling line. Okay. I needed to and intended to do something before. I just wanted to have a little color on there. That's probably self-explanatory, I guess. Well, I tell you what, James, he collects on a level that is fantastic. I mean, wow. The cases and stuff. God. So I'm going to pour a what? Oh, gotcha. Golly. I do about 50 at a time. All right, y'all. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to pour Woodland Scenics. It has not rested. It is blended properly, and it did rest between. I did the 3-minute rest, 3-minute instead of 5 because it's such little amount of product. If you just joined us, so all I'm doing right now is I'm going to pour a touch of this on the Woodland Scenics water area of the chart or whatever that is back there, and then I'm going to let it rest a few minutes and pour some more to show you the difference in thickness in the effects version. All right, so I'm just going to pour a little of this right now. It's going to run straight down very, very fast. I really should let it thicken up a little bit, but and now, all right, and that's got a good glass on it. We'll be able, once it dries, I'll be able to compare it. And so what I'm going to do is let that sit for 3 minutes, and then I'm going to pour again. And I'm going to show you, that's going to show you an example of the change in viscosity that I talked about in my video. Now I'm going to come back over here. I've got this is going to be the thinner version of the mineral spirits and caulk. And I might have this way too thin. I do. I'm going to have to add some caulk, which is fine. I can do that. This part of the experiment was not tested. Now, what I'm going to do, if this really inexpensive caulk doesn't work, is I'm going to scrap this one and I'm going to go pull the DAP back out and we're going to use it. I think though that, oh, I need to be careful. Oh yeah, it looks good though. That is, smell it. Well, that's not water. That's more effects, but that looks really good. I'm going to do the next one thinner. We'll do that one opposite. We'll do this one opposite. But that looks like that's going to be, that would be really good. This is like Ripple's consistency. Like I said, I'm going to do this one a little thinner so we get a little better run. All right. Woodland Scenics. Has not thickened up a ton, but definitely I'm going to do that one in the middle because I'm going to do it again in 3 minutes. But it definitely has thickened. I'm going to keep doing that one side by side as it thickens. Getting my cups mixed up. I should have tested my ratios a little better to figure out what I was going to need. I couldn't mix them early because they'd have dried. All right. John's Mineral Spirit and regular clear caulk. I made it too thick again. Well, it's running some, but God. Tell you what, Woodland Scenics de-smelled theirs, or maybe I'm just there. I'm not having to. Wow, it's already setting and looking pretty good. Woodland Scenics, another 3 minutes. Thicker. All right, let's get some isopropyl. Let's see if that plain old isopropyl will work. I do believe this will too. Yeah, what I would have been better off doing was using wasting a little more for the experiment because it mixes together better at a little bit larger quantity. Now, this less expensive caulk doesn't seem to be mixing as well as the DAP did with this, and as well as it did with the mineral spirits even. I'm wondering if the DAP itself is just going to be easier to mix and come out more smoothly, because this less expensive caulk is not mixing really with this isopropyl. It's like it's almost repelling it. So we will pull this out. Put DAP in. And try that again. Woodland Scenics. Even thicker. Y'all get the point. You see it's running slower. Yeah, this stuff can be tinted really easy. Okay, so here's one thing that I'll tell you. The hybrid caulk is looking like, I mean, certainly for the isopropyl, it's mixing where the cheap caulk would not mix with the isopropyl. So maybe if you're going to use mineral spirits, which basically John and I have pretty much just proven today, looks good. I'm looking at it. You can use the more expensive hybrid caulk with the more expensive. I mean, you can use, yeah, with the isopropyl, and I have something down there to catch that. Now, I can't move that just yet because it's still too wet. But what I found from today. Okay, this over here, the isopropyl. Now, maybe I could have continued to stir a lot longer and probably should have. I mean, I didn't stir that a minute, but it's got some clumpiness to it. A little bit. I mean, I can see that would not work for me, the isopropyl, with either the expensive or the cheap caulk. Woodland Scenics is a fantastic product. Caulk and mineral spirits. Even the cheap caulk with the mineral spirits looks fantastic. I mean, really good. I mean, there's a little difference in clarity, obviously. The crystal clear deep pour water is a little more clear, but not a whole lot. This is not even murky. And one of the differences is this DAP. And this is one of the things the person said that I watched their video. This was not Luke APS, but it directed me to that. But DAP sells crystal clear. One of the things this guy emphasized in his video was you gotta use crystal clear because the regular clear looks a little murky. Well, I just remembered that he said that when I looked at this. It's not even murky. John, what are you finding? Is yours dried at all, or what do you got going on? And what we are doing is I'm probably going to let this dry and then come back on. Now, we got Vinny tonight. We got Track Smack tomorrow. Thank you, John. And we have Track Smack tomorrow at 9 p.m., 9 a.m. Central. We got Vinny tonight at 7 p.m. Central. I guess I could just I might come on Monday and show you the results. I would like to, I hate to move this a whole lot though, but let's see. I'll get a pretty good view. You see what I'm talking about? This one that's closest to the camera. Uh-oh. I'm dripping. That's why I didn't want to do that. But I did want to show you. You see this one that's closest to this one over here? That's the isopropyl. All right. Now look, those mineral spirits don't look bad. Look, that looks like good effects. I could have made that thinner too. Look. I mean, that looks like waves and ripples to me. And you can see the clarity. Here's your Woodland Scenics. I mean, that's just thicker. I could have stirred that a lot more and thinned it some more. So the other oh, is Dave in here? There he is, Dave. Hey buddy. Mineral spirits do look good. They look good. It is. You're still drying, but looking good. Okay. And so look, the next thing that happens, and we'll like I said, we'll come back to this another day. It's not going to look a whole lot different. Here's, well, I showed you yesterday's already. I forgot. The next thing that went on, I talked to y'all yesterday about the ceiling in here. And I did yesterday. I went up there and I moved some panels around. There he is, Claude. And so what I did was um, I opened this area up above me from having about a 7 foot ceiling to about a 13-foot ceiling. And man, I mean, it feels roomier in here. So I'm going to kind of give y'all a quick shot of that because I want to show y'all a few things. Oh, Bill, you got to go. I understand, Bill. It's good to see you. Have a good evening. I'll see you tonight, I hope. So look here. I don't know how this is going to work too well, but so now I'm opened up instead of like this. Okay. So now I've opened it. Now I still got it down here, obviously, but it's opened up here now. And so I don't have this, this tight ceiling above my head. Now my thinking is I can actually remove this one too and open it up even more. And what I can do is rip that board that I painted right there. I can rip that board. And so that'll be removed and open, and that board will be ripped. And I'll put those ripped boards up there above that because I'll rip it in two, so I'll have plenty of room. So basically about halfway up, I'll have each piece of this going all the way across. And then I'll have all this opened up to right there. And so I'll have all this ceiling above my head. And so I've got lights up there too. So I'll rerun this light above me here. So I'll have better light coming down on me here. I'm going to tell you what, I have not noticed a temperature change, or if I have, it has been for the good. I have not noticed a negative temperature change. We did talk about that yesterday. No, what is a ridge vent? I don't even know what that is. To let the hot air out the top, I guess, right? It makes sense. And it's still early too, John. So I might have, I might be wrong. It could hit 3 o'clock over here and I might notice a negative change. I don't know. Yeah, James, I agree. It's like I say, I mean, pretty much I was almost touching the ceiling right here. I mean, I'm not a real tall guy, so I don't have to worry about hitting my head but their beams are about 6.5 feet. And on the top of that beam, which is about 6 inches, is where the plywood laid for the loft up there. Well, I mean, I needed to get up there and straighten up anyway, so I did. And when I moved everything, I'm only utilizing not even half of the loft. So I could remove half of it and have open ceiling space. And it just makes it feel like a lot roomier in here and a lot less confined. And Claude, that's exactly what I was thinking. Is my air going to escape up, which heat is known to rise, so it seems like it's a win, like James said, winner, chicken dinner. And then when I take this off too, man, it's gonna look like a different place. And one of the things that happens with this change too is, and I forgot to mention that, y'all might have noticed this as well. I'm sorry to keep doing this. I don't do this much, y'all, but look here. Ooh. That's a layout shot right there. If trains are running, that'll be a cool shot from there. And you know, I like looking up at the camera and talking to it. I don't mind that at all. And Roy of Edmonston Union Subdivision, he looks up at his camera a lot, but most other people don't. And it's not suggested that you do, but it's kind of cool. I like what I would definitely like to do is if I have a buddy or somebody over here and they're a railroad person too, is to have like an aerial view in here of us messing around and playing with the trains from the top view like that, even further back than I just showed, so it would show some of the walking areas around it too. But yeah, well, my train's getting a little longer, so it's nothing like that dude that, golly, that dude running 180 car trains and stuff. I can't even imagine. Leslie, that's what I heard. And welcome, Leslie. We're glad to have you here. I was actually, and maybe that's the reason, but people were talking about seeing him at Steamtown, and he's like this giant. And I was like, huh? But yeah, and that's really surprising to me as well. I think that's and it's got a lot to do with that. That camera angle looking down on him makes him look about 5'3". Well, Leslie, you got some height on you. Leslie, you would you'd have to be careful out here. You're you're probably very accustomed to that, but your head would be close to those beams. If you had a hat on, you might be scraping. I assume that height has many advantages and disadvantages as well. I would imagine the more vertically challenged person might think it would be a very easy life to be 6'3", but I would imagine there are some challenges. Yeah, Roy, that Todd guy, Todd T. Roy in Panama just put out a layout update too from his visit to him up there in Pennsylvania. And that's actually the area that my father is from and half of my family's from, which hence the. All right, so um, that's interesting to me, man. And you know, I've been pouring water. If y'all know that, and you see the Allegheny River he has on that thing. It's like he would have had to have like 9 million boxes of water. I guess he probably used that Intex stuff or whatever that y'all use. Good to have you back, Mr. Fernando. So we got Roy, Leslie, James, John, Claude, Art, Dwight, Bill was here. What a fantastic group, Dave. And I hear you. Good group today. So y'all want to talk about anything before we run? Any topics? Oh, Fernando, your folks are over this way. Where about? They buying you some train stuff while they over here? Oh, Sorry, Fernando. Maybe I shouldn't have said that. He retracted his message, so I apologize. Yeah, Roy said 1400, and he might have said that on layout update 1. Good for you, Fernando. That's actually maybe in my future this afternoon. The swimming pool. I don't own one, but my mother does. I was like, it's like my 8th birthday present, I think, or something crazy like that. 9th birthday. I think it was in 3rd grade, 4th grade. I didn't get to keep it though. Although I might get it back one day. God forbid, I don't really want that to happen quick anyway. But all right, so what is Celsius to Fahrenheit? I should know this, but I don't. If it's 40 Celsius, how much is it? Container swimming pools. What are you talking about, Roy? Well, Fernando, have you laid any track yet? I don't even know. Y'all gonna make me do a conversion myself. I might have to Google it. What's 20 in Fahrenheit? What's 40 in Fahrenheit? Dave, I know Dave said hot. Like the containers that you pull? Thank you, Claude. Claude's always good for facts. I go to Claude with like difficult questions. Talk to Steve about turnout, John about software and modeling, Bill about modeling. JT1, good to see you. Yeah, I told y'all I was going to be on earlier today. One of the things, steam train set and an electric train set. Okay. So, really, with the exception of 1 or 2 people, a lot of the guys that I usually congregate with are on here right now. And so, this is nothing that we need to talk about or solidify right now. But one of the things I wanted to ask y'all is, starting in August, I'm going to do 1 upload a week, 1 live stream a week, and then a highlight video each month. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take a piece of ground, a block of time that is not occupied by any other model railroad live stream that they currently have scheduled, and nor in the preceding half hour or pre or post half hour of those either would I do anything. But aside from that, I am going to stick a flag in the ground on a time. It will most likely be Friday, Saturday, or Sunday. It will be Friday after 4:30 p.m. Central. It'll be Sunday before 6 p.m. Central, 7 p.m. Central, even if that late. And that's a great question, Dave. That was my next question for Roy, is if they dropped them. But, I mean, it would be perfect for it. they make the filters and everything for those above ground pools. That's be the exact same principle. And I mean, you drop it in the ground. Here's my thought, Roy. You drop one of those containers in the ground and you put, you know, you do the landscaping around it and maybe lay a little concrete around it or something. Those folks ain't gonna know that's a container dropped in there. That's gonna add value to your home as an in-ground pool, I would think. But so anyway, what I would like to do is to start getting some discussion amongst all of us going over the course of the next week about a good time where we could all meet up and hang out and go live each week, because I'm going to be going live for 55 minutes once a week. And so I definitely want to be able to meet with all you guys that are here right now for sure. And if we could make that time good for others as well, that's fine. But my primary concern would be to, the 10 or 12 of you guys that come on here as regularly as you possibly can. I'd like to coordinate schedules as much as we possibly can. Because since it is just going to be once, if I'm doing it once and I'm doing it while you're at church, then we ain't going to be hanging out. And so I'd rather not do it while Claude's at church. I don't know if, depending upon how Claude's Saturday night went, he might not make it on Sunday, but y'all know what I'm saying. Fernando, I think Bill had to go back into work, bud. Bill came out for lunch, and I think he was on his mobile for a little while hanging out with us. I think he's gone, so he's not ignoring you. Oh, no, there he is. I was wrong. Wow. You want 4 or 5 containers stacked up? Oh, wow. Okay, so that's good to know. I am almost definitely not going to go live from 8 to 11 Central Time on Sunday. That's what I'm talking about. Claude threw out a time where he definitely can't be there. And so if that's all avoidable, I'm going to stay around that. And so that's what I'm talking about. If y'all just kind of somehow let me know some things like that, because municipality. Okay, so James, there is I see what you're saying, and that makes sense. Yeah, and if avoidable, I'm not going to be doing it in the evening when I've gotten home from work and have to turn around and go the next morning. Sometimes I have periods of time where my work doesn't really stop when I leave. There are periods of time where work stops for a month, and that's the benefit, So in order to be safe and to be comfortable and to deviate away from any potential conflict in my schedule, I'm thinking that Friday evening, very far away from Vinny with his permission, maybe before or after, half hour on either side. I would talk to him before I even thought about doing that. It's not like I'm going to take viewers from Vinny. It's just a respectful thing, a thing for respect. And not only that, I like to go to Vinny's show, so I don't want to be doing anything live while he's doing it. I don't want to be doing anything live while Sparky's doing it, because I like to go to his show. So really, there's no point in me being live if another model railroader's live. That's why I'm going live. So I am not an oil field man, Roy. I work with young people. And I work with young people um, who are at a extremely impressionable age. It's the best I can tell you. So what I want to do is I want to go on 55 minutes. Probably not even Friday night because Vinny's already there. Ideally, you know, I would assume that there's got to be a good time, Saturday afternoon, Saturday evening, where nobody else has got anything for a couple hours, and we could sneak in there 55 minutes, not bother anybody, and probably bring in some other people who attend the other stuff and those kind of things as well, is what I'm thinking. So, maybe we'll shoot for Saturday or Sunday afternoon, early evening. Do they have any? I like to check. I don't think I go to any live streams on Sunday. Yeah, I was doing that for a few weeks too. I was launching a premiere 15 minutes after Track Smack. I did that for about 3 weeks in a row. And I stopped. We'll just say I stopped. I was actually, what I was doing is initially I was uploading on Wednesdays before or after Sparky and on Saturdays after Steve. And then I figured out, or they started letting you do premieres. And so I figured that maybe a half hour after Track Smack, I wouldn't be like, you know, jumping on his back too bad. And, but I mean, I didn't, the usual folks that we hang out with were there and not really anybody else anyway. So I would assume that that time spot might be better spent for another model railroader who's going to get more viewers than me, because that's a good spot. That's a good time spot to do a premiere. And I think there are model railroaders whose videos get a lot more views than me, and it might be a better time for them to do it. I'm not monetized, so I'm not worried about that. Not that they are, I'm just saying. We're about to hit an hour, y'all. I'm fixing to check out. I do want to get with y'all, though. I really do. I want us to discuss over the next week some times you think may or may not be good for live streams, and let's talk about it. I don't want to stumble on anybody else's stuff. I don't want to step on anybody else's toes. I want to be respectful of other people's set live stream times that they've been working on. I'm not going to have a live stream time set and somebody else say they want to do it and then change my time. Once I set it, I'm going to set it. If there's nobody else there, that's what I'm saying. I need to find a spot, nobody else is there, and I'm going to stick a flag on it. Now, if they want to do it during me too, that's fine, but I'm not going to change once I set. So, which is why I'm going to set around anybody who's already currently doing something. And I know that makes sense to y'all. I don't need to keep repeating myself. Oh, yeah. Thank you, Dave, for telling him that. I would imagine you don't want to go that route. And Roy, before I go, Roy, I want to talk to you about that. Roy mentioned Thursday night. I don't know that I have the structure, the technological capabilities. I don't know that I want to take a primetime spot yet. maybe down the road I will, when I have some better equipment, when my software is communicating better with the YouTube studio and I can change cameras and things like that. Long story short, Roy, I don't think I'm ready to do anything live in a premiere time slot. I think I would be wasting that time slot. And if I did take a time slot like that at some point, I would like to be prepared. I'd like to have the technology sound, and I'd like to have it a time that I know corresponds well with my schedule, that I could continue week after week after week to do that stream. If I get any weekday evening time slot, I kind of feel like I really need to be prepared to to be active, to be accurate, to give quality presentations and those kind of things. It's just different to me. It's like, prime time, in my opinion. We do a Saturday afternoon live stream or a Sunday afternoon live stream every week. It's going to be us sitting around hanging out, which is great and what I want. I mean, technological capabilities, my abilities in regard to production and editing and live broadcasting and those things increase. I mean, and then we could look at something like that. I also don't feel like I have the viewer backing at this point. I mean, I would assume that over time we've got good people here. I'm not bad to anybody ever if I can help it. So I would imagine we're going to accumulate friends because the people that are here are good to people. I'm good to people. We don't cuss. We don't talk about a lot of bad stuff on here. So we're going to accumulate some followers and some people hanging out with us. And so there might be a time, Roy. There might be a time in 6 months or so where a Thursday evening spot would be good for me, where I could have 30, 40, 50 viewers, and I have the technological capabilities to properly produce and broadcast a live stream. Just don't feel like I do right now. I'm not ready to do that. I'm getting more comfortable, though. And it's just little things that are going on, like this ceiling that's making things roomier and less stuffy in here for me. And these new camera angles that are opening up because of the ceiling changing. And this change here that I'm talking about that's producing good things. And then I got a curtain up now that I can draw out so I can cover my yard tools and all that stuff back there that don't look good. I mean, just little things that are going on week by week that are improving, and that'll eventually produce a better product for my videos and broadcasts and everything. So I think that I want to do a kind of a time that fits what we do, and I think that a Saturday or Sunday, maybe early evening type thing, fits our personalities, I guess is the best way to put it. I have no idea what you're asking what about, Jane. Oh, Dwight. Dwight asked about winter. Winter is actually beautiful here. It gets cold, but I have this right here will keep the entire train shed snug as a bug in a rug. Unless we are below freezing for, 24 hours in a row. So Dwight, to answer your question, South Mississippi doesn't get real cold. It is a wet cold when it gets cold though, so it's kind of bitter, but it doesn't stay that long. And usually our hard freezes are somewhere in the middle of the night and not for an extended period of time. And so I'm usually not out here anyway. As I say that, some of my favorite times to be out here is when everyone else in the world is asleep, or I feel like everybody else in the world's asleep. It's, quarter to 5, 10 till 5 out here Saturday morning. Track smack coming on in about 4 hours. I got plenty of time to play with the layout and work around and all that. And hey, Colin. Man, we just about to cut out on you. I apologize. It's been 65 minutes. I intended to come on for about 40 minutes and pour real quick. Oh, yeah. You know, Colorado wasn't even very cold. There were times, but the drag about that was, golly, going out before work, and if you didn't have a covered parking, there could be 6 inches of snow on your car that you had to knock off. And that was bad because, you know, just that being out in, I mean, you couldn't get in your car without knocking all that stuff off, and then you were dry and warm, come out of your house and you're knocking snow all off your car and everything. So I'm gonna run, y'all, and I want to thank y'all for stopping in and staying with me today, as you always do. I want to thank you. Let's just look in here real quick. We'll see what we got. We have from this way over Isopropyl, Woodland Scenics, Mineral Spirits. Mineral Spirits and Caulk looks great. I look forward to seeing John's experimental results as well, and more importantly, I look very forward to seeing each and every one of you 1012 people on tonight at BNSF 6951 at 7 p.m. Central. That's Vinny's live stream. I would imagine it's going to be a good one tonight. Sparky had a real good show Wednesday night. Some fantastic. He made some loads that really looked good for nothing. I mean, he used some products just from around the house and from restaurants and stuff, and made some really good, neat stuff. That was Sparky's live stream Wednesday. Vinny's live streams tonight at 7, and then we got Track Smack 9 a.m. Central tomorrow morning. So, Fernando, you might not know about these things, so listen up. They're PG. As far as I know, Vinny's PG, huh? Yeah, I've never heard him say anything he shouldn't. BNSF 6951. That's the name of the channel. BNSF 6951. 7 p.m. Central. Tomorrow, 9 a.m. Central, tomorrow morning, the channel is called Track Smack. Okay? And that's a live broadcast too, from 9 to 10. So, Fernando, 2 model railroader live broadcasts in the next 24 hours, 12 hours, something like that. 7 p.m. tonight, BNSF 6951, 9 a.m. tomorrow, Track Smack. All right, I just wanted to read what you guys were saying. And here's what y'all need to do. Wait, before I go, John, give me your ear. Art. All y'all, really. We could make a video. I know an incredible video editor. Art could do an experiment. I could take some clips from my experiments the last 2 days. John could take his experiment. We could provide these videos to this incredible video editor that I know. We could all post it on our channels as our own video, really, with the same thumbnail or something. Couldn't we do that? Again, I know this fantastic video editor. It's not me. I think it could be. And not only that, here's what I want y'all to do. Y'all watch this, what happens. One of the huge model railroad channels will do exactly what I just said. But I really do. I think that would be a fantastic idea for us to do. We could put that together and have some real fun with that. Anybody that attends any of these live streams could be involved in the project. That would be fun. You get a bunch of views, and then you got community collaboration, all kind of crap going on, all kind of positive crap. Mark my words, and that's why I said that, y'all. I said that. It is my idea for us to do a video conglomerately together as a whole. My idea. D&RGW Iron Horse for July 19th, 2019. Golly, got to be careful around here. Hey, look, I care about each and every one of y'all. I want to thank y'all for supporting me and stopping in today and watching. I enjoy very much hanging out with y'all. You know, life goes on outside of here, but I enjoy being here with y'all. My mood is always elevated when I leave, and that's just a beautiful thing. I hope y'all's are too as well. It's great to get together with y'all each day. It really is, and I want to keep doing it, and that's why I definitely want us to try to get a schedule that's going to work for all of us for this coming starting in August, because that'll be, with the exception of Thanksgiving and Christmas, August, September, October, November, December will all run on that same schedule that I'm talking about. Now, I'll have a week for Thanksgiving where it'll be free fall, and I'll probably be live 24/7 because we won't have been doing it much. And then we will go and get into Christmas, and I'll have a couple more weeks where I'll go ham sandwich on it. And maybe at that point we'll transition our time, but the time that we're going to pick to get together and go live is probably going to last for 3 or 4 months. So we really need to try to everybody that wants to stay involved with this, like I want all y'all to, we definitely need to reach out and let me know if something's bad for you. Okay, like Claude did. Claude said he can't be there Sunday from 8 to 11 now, so what I'm going to do is, if at all possible, I'm not doing it during that time. He threw that out there. If at all possible, we're not going to do it. Y'all, please do the same. Thank y'all again. I look forward to seeing y'all tonight, 7 p.m. BNSF 6951. Y'all have a good afternoon. I'll see you tonight. Bye-bye.